So we getting ready. We're about to pull up to Kendall's house to drop his car off to him. He wanted to come pick it up, but I had his stocks and everything like that, so I was like, well, I'll just bring it to you. Now, for those that know Kendall, know he's not impressed by anything. This man goes on like these extravagant vacations and just takes pictures like he's not having a good time. So this is gonna be interesting to see his reaction to his car now that it's done. So we're gonna see. I guess last time I dropped it right here. So we're gonna see how he reacts this time to the car being done. All right, check back with y'all in a second.
Without the camera. Oh yeah, that shit was.
Duh, I missed it. I got a real reaction out this man. A real reaction.
Oh yeah. Oh, the steering wheel too. I forgot about that part.
Horn work, everything.
Man, it's been a long time coming. Damn, that shit was good. Damn, you got over here quick.
I was already on the way.
Oh, okay. I was like, shit.
I had stopped and got it washed.
Oh shit, appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I can't deliver a dirty car.
Man.
Yeah, it was like mud and dirt and stuff on the bumper.
I mean, it was filthy anyway.
Yeah, so I stopped and got it washed real quick for you.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So these pads still, I drove it a little bit last night to try to break it in. Yeah, they just need to break in a little bit more.
I know how it is.
But other than that, it feels good. Drive good. No body roll no more. Like when you turn, it just turns.
You feel it?
Yeah, it's awesome. So
I need to get an alignment too, right?
yeah, your wheels are.
It was already.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna set that up, man.
They got to do the shims.
Yeah.
But what you think?
Oh man, that's hard, man. You killed it, man.
That's what I like to hear.
Killed it, man. Long time ago. I've been waiting.
Hello. All right, so we got Kendall's car dropped off. As you can see, he was very happy with it. We talked a little bit more about some future plans. Nothing crazy. A couple small things that we want to tie up on it. Kevin's car's still here. I got started on it so the plan was to knock out the rear brakes. Go ahead and throw the wheel calipers on the rear, make a video, bleed them, get them ready. And then do the front, because the front is getting the upper and lower control arms, all the steering stuff, everything like that. However, this car we found out came from up north. So you know what that means. All the brake lines on this car are completely rusted out. And I just realized now that I'm looking that the front one is broken because it's leaking now. So I called him, I told him, so we're currently trying to source the lines for the car. So I'm gonna have to change all the brake lines on the car before we can even move forward with anything. I had planned on knocking out the control arms tonight, getting started on them, finishing them, but I wasn't even gonna make a video. Well, I guess I did mention this car in another video. This is the 96 that came from another shop. And I wasn't gonna go into a whole thing about this car because I thought it was just gonna be a quick, just swap the harness, get the new harness in, clean it up, get it running, get it out. Boy, was I wrong. So I started with taking the harness off because this car had a standalone harness. Like I said, standalone harnesses are no good on these B-bodies unless you know exactly what you're doing. Now, mind you, I've been doing LS swaps for a while. I started in LA doing OBS swaps and stuff like that. Expert by any means. I'm learning and learning as I go. But some of the stuff that I've seen on this swap, and to know that this car came from a shop and they charged this guy a bunch of money to do this, I don't have the words to describe. I mean, like I said, I'm not perfect by any means. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get better. I make mistakes. There are things I could have done on my swap or the green car swap or Carlos's swap that I could have done differently and could have done better. There's always something you can do different and do better. But the stuff that I've seen on this car is like they did not give a fuck. Like, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, even the hoses, this is how the car came in. The hose is kinked. right here. It's not pushed all the way on. The lower hose is not the right hose. It's rubbing against the frame rail. The coolant bypassed the heater core. They didn't even use the right little U thing, so it's kinked right here. Yes, what we have here is right down there is the oil filter relocation kit, because they put some type of race car oil pan on here. It's a red oil pan, and they just stuck some A&N fittings on the oil pan and ran it to remote filter. But there's no pressure. The oil pump isn't even pushing pressure through those lines. So you can start the car up and no oil comes out through the oil filter housing relocation thing. So there's no oil being recirculated through the engine. So like, I don't even see how that even. So that was just under the hood so far. I mean, I got most of it torn down, got the headers off, got the start. Oh, and the starter, let me tell you, they had every single power source you could find on the hot bolt of that starter, on the constant of that starter. It was probably 6 or 7 eyelets with wires coming out of it going to the starter. It was nuts. I mean, there was barely any thread for the nut to go onto the starter because they had so many things hooked up to the starter. It was crazy. And then this is the fuel line here. Great. I got to go look and see how they did this. I got to go back under there and see if they hooked it up to the right regulator or whatever. But they didn't even take the factory return line out. So this line is just in here hanging out, doing nothing. Okay, so that's that. These are the power steering hoses. I mean, they're coming out like this. This is the pressure line. This is the return line. It's just kind of crazily put on there. This is nuts, man. Power cables run through the fender. This was run to the PCM. This was the PCM power run through the fender for whatever reason. So there we go. So yeah, this was the PCM power. And it's like, I guess they tried to shrink wrap it. No connectors, no solder, just twisted it together and shrink wrapped. Bro, this is, again, disclaimer, I am not perfect. Let me tell you, I am not perfect. But, I mean, there isn't even a crossover on the steam vent for the heads. They just blocked it off. They just blocked it off. There was maybe 3 exhaust bolts in on this side. The block is all rusty. I don't know, And this car has the stock LT1 transmission. So the transmission hard lines are in there. Okay, whatever. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see the oil pan down there. I don't know what kind of oil pan that is, but it's ridiculous. And then the head has the coolant temp sensor on that side, and there's another one on the other side. So this one wasn't even plugged into anything. And then you can see it needs a transmission pan gasket. It's leaking. I mean, this is nuts. I use KDS mounts, looks like. So luckily I have an oil pan for it, but. And then this guy told me he originally dropped off an LS3 to these people to do this swap. And they told him the engine was bad, and they gave him, and they put a 5.3 in his car. And I told him, I was like, you should have said, okay, if the engine's bad, I'll take it back and I'll get it looked at. But he just gave them the engine. So I think these are all the LS3 accessories, but they put the accessories on there, but they kept his engine and heads, and stuck just a truck 5.3 in here with the stock transmission. Crazy. That's not even the worst part. That's not even the worst part. Like, what made me stop and like, I gotta record this. So this is the harness out of the car. As you can see, it's just a standalone, made for, look, this is the, it's so cute. Check engine light and the OBD2 port. You know, you got all your connections. So yeah, this engine will make this harness will make the engine run, but that's it. Nothing else will work. So I came in here. I mean, I was fighting. They had. Let me show you the other side. Hold on. So the harness was fed through here. The computer was sitting here, and it was wrapped up. Look at this. Like, where do I begin to repair this? Where do I begin? Luckily, I got about 396s over here, so I can cross-reference and see what wire goes where and try to fix what I can and salvage what I can. But look at this. Look at this. This is nuts. This is absolutely ridiculous that somebody did this. And then the computer was stuck under there. And then, okay. So for those who've never taken out a wire harness on one of these cars, this is your fuse box that goes under the hood. Has the lid on it. This hooks up to the battery, gives power to all your stuff. This is your fan controls. This is the bulkhead connector that goes into the firewall. So all this stuff right here should be outside. This is not even supposed to be a ground. This is the starter wire. This is what activates your starter, and they have it as a ground for whatever reason. Like, so we'll cut that. So yeah, this is all this is supposed to be under the hood. And then your harness comes in and connects to these plugs. There's plugs in here that come from underneath, you know, and they connect to this. And this is absolutely nuts. This is absolutely nuts, y'all. Absolutely nuts. I've never seen. Can somebody shed some light? Can somebody help me understand what's going on here? Why this was done? Like what purpose this served? Like this is not even supposed to be a ground. This is your starter wire. Like, how does this happen? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Like, and then this is all the wiring from under the hood from the original harness that they spliced up. All right, so all the old wiring is out. I found all the connectors that I need. I have a plug and play harness by Modern Vintage made. So I was looking for these two connectors. These are your main, this is for your starter. This is for all your HVAC stuff. This is all your gauges. And then this is your, let's see if I can get a shot of it. This bulkhead right here, screw goes through it. That's like your fuel level, your oil pressure, all those signal references go through here. So all those seem to be intact. The only one I'm kind of worried about is the starter. So I'm gonna have to trace this back over to this mess over here and see what was cut and what was spliced. Oh goodness, I don't even want to start on this radio. Jeez. But yeah, so at least I got that part figured out. So that's good that all that's intact. That means hopefully everything is still hooked up on that side. So now that that's out the way, it's not going to be too hard to get this thing cleaned up. I'm gonna have to get them an oil pan. We're gonna have to change that oil pan to get rid of that remote filter crap that doesn't even work. I got heater hoses. I have heater hose that works that'll hook up there, so we'll have heater hoses. We'll get an oil pressure sensor back there. We'll get the right hoses for here. So that's all cleaned up. That's easy. I have a coolant water bottle, so we'll get rid of that. We'll get the heater hoses in, the factory ones. And for now, I think that's about it. So shouldn't be too bad. And then I got to fight with the power steering setup. That's one thing that always kind of cripples me in these swaps is the power steering. Even on the green one that I'm finishing up over there, I got the pressure line in and it's all nice and neat and clean. I just got to do the return line now. So I may pull this whole front end off, just clean it up, repaint it, make it look nice. And then I can kind of see what I'm working with as far as space to do the power steering, because possibly might change it. I don't know. I'll talk to him and see what he wants to do. But yeah, so fuel system's done. I'm gonna look under there and see if the oil, if they actually did it right and did the filter regulator and all that good stuff. But I just want to share that with you guys. You know, when people say, oh, $2,500 swap, or, you know, you can do your swap for $1,200, that's what you get. You know, people hit me up all the time, how much is a swap? And I was like, you know, my swap's anywhere from, you know, 7, 8 to 10 grand. But instead of getting something that looks like that, and under the hood, you know, looking like this, you get something that looks a little bit more like this. Night and day difference. Night and day difference. And this isn't done. I still got to clean up some wiring and some other little stuff, and, you know, clean this. I was kind of just making sure this fit in this coupler and stuff like that. And this will be turnkey. I didn't have to mess with none of the wiring under the dash. Everything plugs in. It looks a lot cleaner. You know, it just, that's the difference, you guys. And something I want to address too. If you guys have any questions about getting work done, don't ask me in the YouTube comments. I post a little splash screen at the end of every video. It has OTG Mechanic, my Instagram, bugs flying around, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube is all that. So I'm not going to answer your question, how much is a swap, in my YouTube comments. Like, that's ridiculous. Like I mentioned in another video, there's no set price for a swap. You ask me how much for a swap, you want to swap like this, or you want to swap like that, like this one. You know, I mean, there's so many different variables that go into a swap. You know, it's just so much. So there's no set price. You know, you tell me your budget and I'll tell you, well, you can get something like this or you can get something like that, you know. But I'm not going to put out something like this. You know, I'm getting better. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm getting better, but I would never in my life let something like that leave my shop. That's, you know, that's just not, I don't even know what they were thinking. Like, this is the type of work I put out. You know, and you guys see I put my car on the video. When I get Carlos's car back from the dyno, and I talked to the tuner today, he's going to finish it up for me this weekend. I actually have to go back to Miami to pick up pick up those cars with Torian. The Bentley truck, the Trackhawk, and the Range Rover. So that we dropped them off. Now we got to go back and pick them up this weekend. So that's going to be in the next couple of days. We got to head back to Miami. So I told the tuner, you know, he was like, well, I may get it done Friday. I was like, well, I'll be gone. So just hold on to it. Take your time. You know, I like to let people work at their own pace. You know, unless it's something I absolutely need, I'll let them know, you know, ahead of time. Like, hey, look, there's something I need it by this date. Can you do it? If not, cool. I'll get it done somewhere else. It's no big deal. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. Shout out my boy Derek. That's the owner of the Destroyer Gray Impala. His car is at my house. I took it home because we're waiting on some parts and some other stuff. So I got 2 cars in here that don't run. So I really only have room for 1 car to bring in and out to work. So I knew I was going to be working on this. And I didn't want to park his car outside. So I took it home, I got a garage at home I can put it in. So like I said, guys, this is what I'm working on. This is one of those, I mean, I gotta go in there, clean all that up, figure all that out, you know, and then I gotta install a Dakota Digital in this. So but you see how it looks now. You guys see how it looks. You know, and if you look in the other video, how it looked prior to this, it already looks better. But I'm gonna have to lift the engine up, kind of like how I did when I did the head gasket in Carlos's car and I dropped the lifter in the oil pan. I can lift the engine up. I gotta take the wiper motor out. Well, I might be able to leave it, but lift the motor up, pull the pan out, put the right pan on it, And then that'll eliminate this remote oil filter ridiculousness that they got in here. And I can't believe, like, I think they said he said they charged him like I think for the labor, he said like $3,000 or $4,000 for this. And this is what he got. This is nuts. But it's here now. I'm going to get it better. I'm going to get it a lot better. I don't even know, where does this go? Where's that wire going? I mean, even look at the, like, oh, I think he said it was in an accident because the thing is pushed in down there. So we got to fix that. The whole radiator's kicked out. But I think that's from an accident. But we'll get to all that. We'll fix all that. So that's where we're at, people. Enjoy it as it looks now, because it will not look like this for long. But again, last thing, if you want, like I said, if you want work done by me, you see what I got going on. So you need something quick. I don't care what it is. It's not going to happen right now. I'm sorry. I hate having to turn work away, but I got these 3 cars sitting here. I got one outside, one at the dyno, one at the interior shop, one at home. So I really probably won't be taking any more cars until this one is done.